Hey Chiefs, I'm Nick.
This is Jake.
Today we're going to talk about the Packers. They started off really shaky, losing to the Saints 38-3 in Week 1. Rodgers had a pretty rough game. He threw 2 interceptions and only 15 out of 28 completions on the day. The team as a whole converted only a tenth of their third down plays and 2/3 of their fourth down plays. They also couldn't get any of their run game going at all, only 43 yards on the ground. All in all, they had a pretty rough game on Week 1.
Wow.
That's not very, very common for the Packers to lose by that much.
Yeah. I feel like knowing that Aaron Rodgers was about to go to another team, I feel like he stepped back into the Packers season starting off not by trying. And I think the score proves it right there that he just really did not care and he gave up, I feel like.
Yeah, he showed his hatred for his coaches during that game. He showed that he didn't really care and that he proved that the team needed him, which gave him more power over his coaches because if they don't have a quarterback, they can't run the game as a team. So
Yeah, you can see him if you look closely at the end of the game. He's just sitting there with his beanie on, helmet off. He's just sitting there, doesn't really care. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know why he would be like that, but it is what it is. On to the next one.
they bounced back in Week 2 in their game against the Lions. They won 35-17. Rodgers had a much better game where he threw no interceptions and completed 22 out of 27 of his passes and 4 touchdowns. Adams and Aaron Jones ran the Packers offense and moved them down the field. Adams ended the game with 8 receptions for 120 yards, and Jones finished their drives with 3 of their 4 passing touchdowns.
Okay.
That just goes to show that Adams and Jones are his top receivers on the field.
That's for sure. And I mean, they're leading. They really want to try. And I feel like Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he would have played exactly how he played in Game 1 if it wasn't for Adams and Jones. So I mean, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, it also shows that Adams is their deep guy to go for, and he's not really good in tight spaces. He's good when you let him out and run because he had 8 receptions for 121 yards, which one of those is bound to be over 10 yards. So the fact that he had 8 receptions for 120 yards but didn't have any touchdowns, and Aaron Jones had 3 of the 4 touchdowns, shows that Jones is a lot better in the red zone than Adams because Adams is better down the field and a better catcher than Jones.
Yeah, I feel like Aaron Rodgers definitely did a way better job completing passes that week. So can't really say anything though. It is the Lions, and they're kind of terrible. So I mean,
it's a good confidence booster though.
It's a good confidence,
sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah, the next week they continued their winning streak, beating the 49ers 30-28 and the Steelers 27-17. This week they narrowly beat the Bengals after each team missing multiple game-winning field goals at the end of the game. They go on to play the Bears, Washington, Cardinals, Chiefs, Seahawks, Vikings, Rams, Ravens, and Browns towards the end of the season, and they hope to end the season on a much higher note than last year, where they lost the NFC Championship to the Bucs, 26-31.
Okay, well, I feel like if they get to that point again, I gotta be honest, I don't think they're going to be beating the Buccaneers again, because I mean, they have a really good start right now too, having a 4-1 season so far.
Yeah.
I mean,
and also the fact that their kickers being really inconsistent is a huge part of the game because a lot of the games come down to game-winning field goals in the last minute, and if their kicker is missing 4 to 5 consecutive field goals at the end of a game,
right,
it proves they can't really count on him to make it when it counts.
Yeah, so when it comes to the Bucs, for me, I've got the Bucs winning all day. So I mean,
and the fact that the Packers haven't gone to the Super Bowl since they won it in 2008 or something like that, 2011. They aren't very good at the end of the season. They play good regular season, but they just can't finish out the season. So
if they're going to, it's going to have to be that Davante Adams, Jones, and Aaron Rodgers magic right there. They're going to have to do something with it.
Yeah,
in order to get to that point.
That game against the Bucks completely ruined Rodgers' mojo with his coaches because they decided to kick a field goal instead of going for the game winner and throwing a touchdown on 4th down. They went for the field goal instead.
And I think that's kind of one of the big plays that led on to the next season of where Aaron Rodgers didn't really want to play with them, and he kind of wanted to get a trade.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't think they should have gone for the field goal. It's the NFC Championship. You need to go all in. You can't be complacent with
That's
the
true.
field goal. I mean, it's your season on the line. You gotta go for the win. You can't sit back and hope for Tom Brady to make a mistake. He's top tier when it comes to ending games.
You're not going to be able to mess it up. You're just going to have to compete back. You're going to have to fight back with all you can. You can't really get in his head. I mean, he is probably the best quarterback of all time. So, I mean, there's nothing much you can do except to fight for everything you have left.
Yeah, and you got to put faith in. Aaron Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
I mean, yeah.
And he's proven it, and I think you should put some faith into letting him throw the ball on 4th down at the end of the game. That's just my personal opinion. I don't think they should have kicked the field goal.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, like I was saying, leading into the season, just knowing that he didn't really want to play on the team in the first place, but if he ended up playing on the team, I feel like that's going to affect him for the rest of the season because it's like he might be acting happy and all that, but I don't know if he's going to be able to actually continue to do it. So, yeah, anyways, let's talk about this next week real quick. Looks like Rodgers has made a lot of fans upset after he stated his frustration about the championship game last year. So kind of how we were just talking about. He even stated that he wanted to leave the franchise, and that just came to a shock to many people around the NFL, a lot of players too. And if things don't go the way he wants this season, I feel like coaches aren't really, they're going to be kind of scared because I feel like he has a lot of freedom right now to go to another team. And I mean, it could be very well be his last season with the Packers. I mean, who knows? Possibly even in the NFL since, he's been here for so many years. And his best receiver, Devontae Adams, this is actually his last contract, and it's looking to expire at the end of the NFL season. This might also cost Rodgers to make a choice on whether he wants to stay with the Packers or leave, because they're just going to slowly get worse and worse, in his opinion. Sometimes it just looks like Rodgers doesn't even want to be on the field with the Packers because he just thinks he'll get nowhere with them. And if he still thinks like that, then honestly, I don't think that they're going to be succeeding anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't see him staying if, one, his favorite receiver's going, and two, he is having issues with his coaching, because it comes to a point where you can't be complacent with your coaching staff at that point. You gotta move on. Plus, he's nearing the end of his career. He's been in the league so long. He's getting older, and you can tell with how many injuries he gets recently. He's been injured the past, I don't know how many seasons, but he's really starting to get a little bit shaky, and I don't know how long he's going to be in the league anymore.
Yeah, like I was saying, the Packers, they're going to continue to lose their best players. I don't even know how long Devontae Adams might want to stay. Who knows? If he knows about Aaron Rodgers, which he most definitely does, I mean, they have a strong connection, he might leave too, because he knows that he's not going to get anywhere without him. And Aaron Rodgers thinking the same. He's not going to get anywhere without Devontae Adams, and that's both forcing him two different ways, wanting to leave, and then that just might affect the coaches a little bit and all the other players, because they're like, oh, wow, we just lost our two best players if they lose them. And coaches, they just really need to be careful, I feel like, as if they might need to play some favoriting, because if they don't really, give Aaron the calls that he wants, then shoot, who knows? He's going to leave, and yeah, so I feel like they're going to have to baby him or something. Or if not, Aaron Rodgers can just suck it up and he can actually play
the
the rest of the season.
And if he leaves, I think it might be like one of those Tom Brady Gronkowski things, where they both go to the same team because they have such a connection that it would be like a package deal with them.
Oh yeah, I think that would be a good idea. But then, just thinking about the Packers after they lose him, they're not going to do so well. I mean, there's not really a better quarterback coming up for the Packers after Aaron Rodgers. I mean, let alone another receiver either. So
yeah, and I don't know what team is looking for a new wide receiver and a new quarterback.
I mean, I feel like anybody would get him, but they have to have the right salary cap for that.
Yeah, and Rodgers, I feel like he's gonna want quite a bit of money, and I feel like teams are gonna be a little bit scared to give him that money with the way he's acted after his coaching staff. And I know his relationship with Mike McCarthy was also really shaky, and the fact that he's having another bad relationship with his new coach, it's just, if I was a coach personally, I don't know if I would take him in, because if he gets a new coach and he still doesn't like the coaching staff, I don't know what I would think, because that just shows that he wants things to go his way, and if everything doesn't go in his favor and he doesn't get to call the plays he wants, the game's not all about him.
Yeah,
it's about
he needs to.
It's about helping the team most, not benefiting just him. And I think he needs to take a step and realize that, because he hasn't won a Super Bowl since 2011, which was the only time he ever made it. So I think they need to take a look back at what they did in 2011.
Yeah, they need to. I mean, then again, they are playing some really good competition. I mean, back then, Tom Brady wasn't even on the Buccaneers. There was no talk that he was going to the Buccaneers. He was with the Patriots. But, I mean, one of the reasons that he might be getting frustrated is maybe the money that he's getting on the Packers. I mean, shoot, it's only in 1 year. Like, how much money are they giving him for 1 year? I mean, if it's a lot, then it's a lot. But same for Devontae Adams. I mean, if this is his last contract right now in the NFL season, I mean, who knows? He might not sign back either. He might want to go somewhere for more money. I feel like Aaron Rodgers will definitely do that. But at the same time, think about where he could succeed at, where he can actually, win a Super Bowl before he retires, or just have a big season. And I mean, he still has time to pick it up this season. Who knows? He might win something this season, for sure.
Yeah, and from what I read, it doesn't look good for Adams signing back, because it says that the negotiations are starting to dwindle down, and they're not really coming to a conclusion on what he's going to do, which is a bit scary for Packers fans, because that's two of their star players that they're kind of banking on. And I don't know much about their backup quarterback, but the fact that he hasn't really got any touches on the ball in any games is...
Yeah, I feel like he might be a little excited, but at the same time knowing that they're not really going to succeed that much if they don't have, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And especially if he steps on that field and knowing that probably one of the best wide receivers in the league now is also gone, I mean, who knows? He'll definitely be really good. He'll be really good, but just not having Devontae Adams to throw to as getting your first touches on the field, I mean, that might be kind of hard right there. So
yeah, I also think that the Packers really need Rodgers and Adams, because the majority of their games come down to final plays in the last minute. So I personally think that they should continue to make Adams and Rodgers happy, because honestly, they would have lost a lot of their games because they aren't able to make these plays at the end of the game, like these 20-yard passes to get them into field goal range for their kicker to make the game-winning field goal with 30 seconds left on the clock. And I think it was the game against the Lions no, it wasn't the Lions, it was the 49ers, where they had 37 seconds on the clock, and Rodgers completed like 2 or 3 passes, each for like 20 yards to get them into field goal range so that they could end up kicking the game-winning field goal. So I think that it's important that they take this negotiation seriously and continue to please Rodgers and as much as they can until they get a new quarterback or new wide receiver core. Because honestly, I don't know how far they would make it without Rodgers in their quarterback slot and having Adams out wide for Rodgers to throw to. Because I just have a bad feeling that that's a majority of their game is the final 2 minutes of the game.
Exactly. That's where it all comes down to. And I mean, to top it off, Aaron Rodgers, he's a really good quarterback. He'll honestly make any team good, but I just think that he's done with the Packers. I mean, that might be very sad for all those Packers fans out there, but I think he's really done with them. I think this is for sure going to be his last season. Any other team's going to want him. They're gonna make some space for their salary cap. They're gonna get him. Like, some people are gonna get him. Who knows about Devontae Adams? I don't know much about Devontae myself, but I just feel like Aaron, I think he's done, and that's just what I think about Packers football right now.
Yeah, and he might not just be done with the Packers. He might be done in the NFL. Period.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't doubt it, but if he's gonna want to go out great, he's gonna have to have one of the last seasons. So it could be this year, or the next 2 years, or who knows, the next 4 years, who knows. Like, he has to go out with a good season, a great season. And yeah, I mean, if I didn't go out with a good season my senior year or something like that, I for sure would not feel great knowing I didn't get any offers like that. But I mean, I know he's in the NFL, except he'll be retiring. I mean, he's going to be done soon. I mean, he's old. He's really old, but he's one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And yeah, he's just going to have to go out with a big win and a successful career, successful season to just top it all off. And yeah, that's Aaron Rodgers for you right there.
Yeah, I just hope the Packers can pull off a good season this year.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up. This was Jake.
And I'm Nick.
And yeah, that's the Packers podcast right there.